It's always interesting to see which photograph people use of you. I think I might give that one 6 out of 10. Anyway, it's fantastic to be here. Now let's see if this works. This is the slide that my PA thought might be more appropriate, using our corporate branding. Look, I'm here to talk about gender equality, what I call the power of 5, SDG 5. Gender equality, the empowerment of all girls and women. This is an issue of equality, but hey guys, it's not about us having the same opportunities as you. If I look at equality in a different spin, you know you're not equal to us. You know, women have a higher pain threshold. We have yet to meet a man who's going to carry a baby to term and give birth. That day may yet come. Medical science is an incredible thing. But that responsibility of bringing each generation, the responsibility your mothers carried to bring you into this world, that is a unique responsibility. I know the guys play a part at the start, and hopefully in working with their partners through those 9 months and in the subsequent years. But when those babies come into the world, the girl child, and when their mothers look down at their faces, this, by the way, is my baptism. You can tell how old I am. It was only black and white photographs in those days. What does she think? What do those fathers also think, looking down at their baby girls? What opportunities in life are they going to have? What challenges in life are they going to face? Will there be tough times? Well, for me, none of the SDGs can be realized unless we get gender right, unless all girls can believe in the opportunities ahead. I'm not going to spout a whole load of statistics at you. I know that those of you who care about this subject will know all about that. 18% of women in relationships are subject to abuse and domestic violence. It's a shocking figure. It's almost 1 in 5. If we look at this room and you count every 5th woman, that's a shocking reality. How can women have justice and fairness unless we deal with domestic violence? But also, for each of those girl child, will they have the access to education? Will they have the nurturing? Will they have the encouragement to truly realize their potential? And this is why education is such an important part of this agenda, indeed SDG 3. And when women come into the world, having progressed through their childhood and their teenage years, what are the prospects that they can realize? And you may ask yourself, what is the British High Commissioner, a diplomat, doing on all of this? Actually, for my organization, the British Diplomatic Service, gender equality, women's rights is one of our key pillars, one of our key global priorities. I was struck when I was High Commissioner to New Zealand, attending a conference. It was a joint project between AusAid, New Zealand Aid, the Americans, and ourselves. And I was looking at the agenda, and there was a group of women from Papua New Guinea, and they were going to give us a presentation about improving market conditions. Now, this was the first time I'd been in that part of the world. I was thinking market conditions from a sort of Western perspective, the trading floor, the value of stocks and shares. But when these women gave their presentation, it was about literally improving market conditions. How could they be economically empowered when they were taking their handicrafts, their produce to the local market, setting up stall, when there was no access to toilets for women? There were only toilets for men. For goodness sake, if women can't have a pee in private, how can they go to market? It's as fundamental as that, making sure that women have access to the things that they need to allow them to pursue their business. And one of the big agenda issues I did in my last job in Malaysia was to bring an initiative that we have in the UK called Women of the Future. A lot of us, when we're older, are asked to speak at events like this, to be role models for a younger generation. But for girls and teenage girls, we're like these old ladies. They need role models that are much closer to their own age. So Women of the Future specifically targets young women 18 to 35 to discover a new generation of female role models who are younger, who are doing amazing things in their 20s, early 30s. And I'm the vice chairman of this program in the UK. And when I went to Malaysia, I said to my friend, who was the founder of this initiative, let's bring it to Asia. If you think culturally in Asia, respect comes with age. The struggle for young women to establish themselves is that much tougher than in the environments we live in. So we brought Women of the Future to Malaysia, and we did it as an ASEAN initiative across all 10 countries of ASEAN. And I remember my friend Pinky Lalani said to me, how are we going to do this? I said, but this is where the British Diplomatic Service is going to help you. I will get every ambassador and high commissioner across the 10 ASEAN countries to support this, to promote this initiative. We launched it 2 years ago, and we've had 2 successive years of this program. Putting the word out there, trying to find young role models across a range of sectors, from social enterprise to professions to science and innovation, and we did that. Each year, we've shortlisted about 50 women from across that region who then go to a final in Singapore. And 9 of them win their respective categories, and we promote them and we celebrate them. And they form this incredible network for us. And these are young women. I remember being asked when we launched it, someone said to me, can't you lift the age? You know, because women haven't really arrived till they're at least 45. And I said, no, this is the whole point, to prove that young women are doing incredible things, and we can't compromise on that. There are enough awards and programs for older women. This is about getting the message through to younger women. And I hope now that I'm in Australia, I'm trying to persuade Pinky that we want to go beyond ASEAN. We should bring in the South Pacific, because this is the region, the Pacific Island countries, that are falling behind on all the SDGs. So you're here, your advocacy, your voice, particularly on gender empowerment, is really critical. Because if women do not have their fair role in society, how can we transform this world when 50% of our global citizens are falling behind because they don't have access to education? This is absolutely critical. We are now into the 2nd decade of the 21st century, yet for some women, they're still living in their reality that is stuck somewhere in the past. I'll give you another example. In Malaysia, the rise of conservative Islam, and in some parts of Malaysia, the way the Sharia system operates. A woman might be raped by a married man, yet she is the one who's accused of adultery, not him. A girl of 12 might be raped. What is the solution, according to 1 or 2 people? Her rapist should marry her. If she's a wife, no rape happened. This is in our century, in the last year, events that took place in Malaysia. This matters. In our world, these things are continuing. So changing mindsets, actually having the difficult conversations, this is essential. It is about education. It is sometimes about tackling difficult issues where people tell you to go away. What do you know or understand about our culture? Well, the answer is quite simple. A child is a child. Child molestation is molestation. Abuse is abuse. You cannot justify it on religious grounds at all. So we need to win over hearts and minds, and that is really important work too, because we have to transform this world if we're to see the 17 SDGs that 193 countries have signed up to really being delivered, and if women have their rightful place in society, if the things that have been perceived as acceptable are now understood to be wrong, if the education is there for every girl and boy, and in raising those young boys into men, actually showing them that there is a different relationship to be had, that there is a respect to be secured, that there is a partnership between men and women to really transform this world. And I guess it is also about how we nurture our children. I know that I was very blessed with the parents that I had. Maybe because my dad wanted a son and he never got one. As I was being brought up, I always got the boys' toys. My elder sister always got the girly toys. So in a way, I always believed that I could do anything I wanted to do. As you will see, this is the kind of birthday present my dad used to buy me as a little girl, having my toy cars. And indeed, after Dad passed away, apart from actual cars that he used to collect, he collected lots of little toy cars. If you ever visit my residence in Canberra, you will see cabinets full of toy cars. The truth is, girls can do anything. And I know when I started in the British diplomatic service, let me think, about 3.5 decades ago, the world was very different. I remember walking into my first boss on my first day, a young Eurasian woman born in Malaysia, as you can see, to a Chinese mother and a Eurasian father, having grown up in Malaysia till I was 8, so I immigrated to Britain. The British Foreign Service that I joined was very white, Anglo-Saxon and male. People of difference were very unusual. And my first boss said to me, "I don't understand how you can be a British diplomat." And this is a message for every young woman out there when I speak at schools. Having confidence is one of the things that women really have to gain. And for young girls to be brought up believing in themselves and the possibilities. But also knowing your identity, really knowing yourself, where you come from, your heritage, your family background, your context. My answer to him was very simple. "Well, sir," because in those days we never called bosses by their first names. "Well, sir, the answer is quite simple. I'm a legacy of empire, and you are now reaping what you sowed." So if women know who they are and what they want and where they want to go, we can achieve anything. We can overcome every hurdle. But of course, we cannot do it alone. We need partnership. We need role models. We need men to support us in this agenda too. And if we can come together and seize what lies behind SDG 5, really take that power forward, leveraging the other SDGs that support that, in terms of well-being, in terms of education, in terms of justice and fairness. If women have their rightful place, are politically represented in our parliaments, are economically empowered, whatever that means for them, if they can have access to the jobs and the employment that they need, this world will transform for the better, and all the other SDGs will follow. Time is running out. We cannot afford to lose more of it. This is a time for change. This is a time when all of us have to become advocates, champions for gender equality, to play our part, to join the conversation, to start the conversation, to look at organizations we can become part of, to deliver that transformational change. Women can do it, and men should support us in that endeavor. Thank you.